guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Yes, I react to documentaries, histories, and about the world news. So you definitely don't want to miss out on any of our video. And sure, if this is the first time of you coming across my YouTube video, please don't forget to hit on that subscribe button and turn on your notification post so that whenever I post, you'll be among the first to see it. Yes, guys, so today I'm reacting to something you definitely don't want to miss out, which says Simo Häyhä, and this is about the deadliest sniper in the military history. Guys, this is my first time of reacting and seeing this video. I came across it and I actually thought like, why don't I why don't I watch this properly and react to it? And sure, you guys can also tell me what you feel in the comment section. And also, you can also recommend movies and documentaries and what you feel I can react to in the comment section. So guys, without further ado, let's get right into this video.
When World War II broke out in 1939, the Soviet Union decided to invade Finland while everyone else was preoccupied with the war in Europe. But a sniper named Simo Häyhä came to Finland's defense. Hayha allegedly eliminated a staggering 505 enemy soldiers, which, if accurate, would make him the single deadliest sniper in history.
Oh my god, over 500! Like, that means this is literally not our regular war story. And this is about silence, passion, precision, fear. This is not our regular story, guys. Let's get right into it.
Today we're looking at the man Simo Häyhä and his unbelievable marksmanship. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel. Simo would have wanted it that way. Alright, let's get sniping. As you might imagine, the invading Soviet soldiers grew to be straight up terrified of Hayha. Having to patrol the blanched Finnish wilderness with the knowledge that Hayha could be out there waiting to ping them with a spectacular long-distance shot earned him the nickname Belya Smert, which is Russian for White Death.
Wow. So this is what made him have a nickname of Belya Smert. Wow, this is incredible. They called him the White Death. And his name is Simo Häyhä. That's really like, maybe you might have heard of him in Military Legend, but what you're about to see prove why is more than just a name. Yes, it was a force of nature. That's like according to what the videos say. And let's break this down together and I will explain to you what I feel, like I said earlier. And over 500 people were confirmed killed. Wow.
Hayha's fellow Finnish soldiers had a completely different name for him. They called him Taika Ampuja, Magic Shooter. While that nickname may have been as accurate as Hayha himself, we have to admit it is somewhat less intimidating than White Death. Simo's exact sniper count varies depending on the source. Some suggest he downed as many as 542 Soviet soldiers with his rifle, but no one claims he eliminated any less than 505. This makes him the most effective sniper in any war. With
500 soldiers. 500 soldiers. Like, they literally killed over 500 soldiers. Guys, this is a very interesting thing. And I just feel like that's a lot of people. Like in 100 days, it confirmed killed over 500 people. Wow.
Soviet sniper Ivan Sidorenko sitting at a close second with 500 kills. However, Hayha's count may even be higher. Rather than stay at a comfortable distance behind his sniper rifle for the entire war, Hayha may have also cut down several hundred enemy combatants with a submachine gun. If true, that would put his count at approximately 800. Simo, that is a frightening number. Impressive, sure, but holy cow, you're really good at your job. The Winter War lasted for a single winter, as its name suggests, which means Hayha was putting in serious work. In order to achieve his staggering record, Hayha was eliminating an average of 5 to 6 enemy soldiers every day. Of course, some days were better than others. Hayha racked up a terrifying 40 confirmed kills in a single day, scoring 25 and 20 on 2 other record days. The cloud of perpetual death in which he lived saw him promoted from corporal to second lieutenant, the biggest rank jump in the history of Finland's military. Hayha did not use a scope to forge his legendary sniper count. He preferred to use the plain old iron sight on his rifle. Yeah, no scope.
Over 500 people were confirmed killed. I'm so bothered about it. I want you to really process that. That's not 50. That is over 500 people. That's not 150, guys. And 500 people confirmed killed, and that's just the official number. Do you get? Some sources claim that the real amount is even close to 800 people. Imagine going to a battlefield every single day, knowing this ghostly figure could be watching you through a scope. No sound, no movement, then you are gone. It's not just skill, it's psychological dominance. It's psychological dominance. But it wasn't just winning battles, it was breaking morals. The entire Soviet unit literally feared a silence, because this silence meant Simo was at war. And the scary part now I'm going to say is that he didn't even use a scope. Let's sink that in. Anyways, guys, let's get right into this video.
Yeah, no scope. He's just an all-around old-fashioned badass. Beyond being hardcore, there was a strategic reason for this, beyond just showing off. Hayha recognized that scopes made his enemies an easy target. In addition to making the target slightly bigger, scopes would glint in the sunlight, allowing Hayha to spot enemy snipers before they spotted him. At the time, every Finnish citizen was required to do 1 year of military service, and Hayha had done his 14 years earlier, back in 1925. That was the extent of his military experience. He did join the Finnish Civil Guard as reservist, which is essentially the equivalent to the U.S. National Guard, but he stuck to his civilian life of hunting and farming, right up until the Soviets decided to invade in 1939, at which point he was summoned back to service. If his hunting record was anything like his war record, we suspect the deer around Hayha's home had a nickname for him too. After he completed his year of mandatory service in 1925, Hayha was given the option to purchase his service weapon, a standard bolt-action rifle. He bought the gun and spent the next decade and a half mastering it. When he was called back to duty during the Winter War, Hayha brought his old bolt-action rifle, turning down a more modern rifle with advanced optics. The extreme cold, which ranged anywhere from -20 to -40 degrees Fahrenheit, caused frequent weapon malfunctions among his fellow soldiers. But Hayha's experience with his bolt-action BFF allowed him to keep the gun functional throughout the winter. While only having minimal military experience, Hayha wasn't possessed by the lord of incredible aim. He developed his skill from being a competitive sharpshooter, having grown up a few miles away from the Civil Guard shooting range, which held annual contests. Hayha regularly participated in these competitions, packing his house full of trophies. Among his accomplishments was the ability to hit a target with his rifle 16 times in a minute at a range of 500 feet, a talent best described as supernatural. Hayha was deployed to the Kola battlefield, where he and 31 other soldiers were tasked with holding off an invading force of 4,000 Soviet troops. Despite having fewer men on the roster than a college football team, Hayha's group managed to hold their ground for the entire winter. That's some good goal line defense right there. He and his fellow Finns had a few other advantages beyond his Angel of Death status as a sniper. For instance, the Soviet troops all wore bright green uniforms, which made them stand out like decorated Christmas trees against the snowy white landscape. What also didn't help the Soviets was they lacked officers with any leadership skills, mainly because Stalin had them all executed when he purged the USSR of any potential political opponents. And even though the Soviet invasion of Finland was technically successful, they only managed to capture a relatively small amount of border territory, leaving the rest of the country intact. All told, the Soviets suffered nearly 400,000 casualties during the Winter War, compared to the 66,000 suffered by Finland. Most snipers shoot while lying flat on their stomachs because it gives enemies a smaller target to aim at. Hayha fired from a sitting position because he felt the position was better for his aim. He didn't worry too much about making himself a bigger target, as he was just a biscuit over 5 feet tall and would conceal himself in snowbanks and put snow in his mouth to hide his breath. Additionally, Hayha would pack snow in front of his rifle barrel or pour water on it to freeze it, so that smoke would not rise from it after he fired and give away his position. And in perhaps the biggest departure from sniper etiquette, rather than going for the head, Hayha aimed for the center mass of his targets, which is effective in wartime, but won't do him any favors on the Black Ops 4 leaderboard.
Guys, I feel like this is literally what separates him from everyone else. Like, he didn't just shoot, he thought, he adapted. So what the video is trying to say is that he packed snow in his mouth to hide his breath from cold air. He froze his barrel of his rifles, like, so no one, but like no string would rise. And after he shot, oh my god, according to the video, he also said that he wore all white. That's them smart. This guy is literally smart at this point, because how does he even come up with this idea? The fact that he didn't even fight the code, he became the code himself. This is what I call science and strategy. Yeah, I'll call that science and strategy. This man could sit for like 1 hour just to get a target, like just to kill someone. It's almost spiritual. Yes, it's almost spiritual. Like he entered a different mental zone and focus and is ready and calm. Guys, this is smart.
Hayha's reputation as the John Wick of Finnish snipers eventually drew the ire of the Soviet commanders, who finally grew tired of his nonsense and began targeting him directly. Because getting anywhere near Hayha was out of the question, they began hammering his general location with artillery strikes. When those didn't work, the Soviets sent teams of counter-snipers to take him out, but Hayha, being the sniper's sniper, dispatched them with bone-chilling ease.
Now, the fact that the Soviets weren't trying to, were not just fighting the feline anymore. Now they were trying to look for just that one man that was this, like, trying to bring down everything. They employ like counters of snipers. They bomb forests at random. Like at random, they just bomb the forest, and they fired mortars into the trees, hoping to hit something or anything. This is where everything just get dark. The Soviets weren't just like fighting the felines anymore. They were trying to stop one man, just like one man, and they deploy counters of snipers. Like they bombed the forest at random, and they fired mortars towards the trees, hoping to hit something, like anything, literally, and all just to get one silent sniper. That's how dangerous Simon became, literally. Like, guys, it turned an entire army into a paranoid, confused mess. Just imagine that power. Just imagine that power. Imagine one man, one rifle turning the battlefield into a chessboard. And it's always like 10 moves ahead. Literally, it's 10 moves ahead. And he wasn't just hiding, according to what the video is trying to tell us. He was controlling the war, literally. He was trying to control the war. He's controlling the war. Let's get right into this video, guys.
Finally, one Soviet sniper got lucky and blasted Hayha in the jaw with an exploding round. Despite being described by one friend as having half of his head missing, Hayha refused to die, and after days of reconstructive surgery, he finally regained consciousness, the day after the Winter War had ended. Despite getting a portion of his face blown entirely off his dome in a time...
The thing is that they finally got to explode his face after many hiding. But I would say that is definitely smart. Like, eventually every legend get wounded, right? They get wounded, but Simo took an explosive bomb on his face, and his jaw was just like scattered and his head swollen. unrecognized, man. Like, people thought he was even gone, according to the video. And this is where the legend get deeper. He doesn't die. How is that possible? He does not die. How? I feel it's giving them more tasks to carry out. How would you say that he doesn't die? Because he slips into a coma and wakes up after a week later. Like, after a week later, like the exact day the war ends. That's the exact day the war ends. And think about that. It's almost like his job was done. Like, his job was literally done. He survived the impossible. Like, it wasn't luck, trust me. That was resilience. That was resilience. And you can kill someone who has already given everything.
Entirely off his dome in a time when medicine was still largely experimental, Hayha survived World War II and went back to hunting and farming. The Finnish government actually gave him a farm in 1961, presumably both to reward him for his service, and they probably wanted to stay on his good side. Hayha took up dog breeding and continued hunting, winning the Ruokalahti Hunting Society's Game Cup 5 years in a row. In 1970, he moved into a small apartment where he lived out the rest of his days before passing away at age 96 in 2002. That's right, the deadliest sniper in World War II lived long enough to have witnessed the rise of popularity of NSYNC. Simo Häyhä left his quiet farm life in the winter of 1939 to become the most effective sniper in history, racking up over 500 confirmed kills without even using a scope before returning home to live out the rest of the 20th century in peace. What do you think of the White Death? Let us know in the comments and check.
Guys, this is literally mind-blowing. He didn't just cash into the fame. Like, he didn't write a book. He just disappeared into the wood, literally. He raised dogs. He humped quietly. He became what he always wanted, a peaceful man who did not ask for war. And this is what makes him more admirable, right? The world knows his name, but he never chased the spotlight. He allowed the history to speak for himself. Moheya lived for 96 then good years. And he became a legend, not because he wanted to, but because his actions left no other choice. To this day, I'm sure military experts still studies his status, right? But no one can explain what fully made him effective. Me, even as I have watched the video, I'm not sure I can really explain what even made him this effective, because it is kind of confusing at the same time. But what I would say is that he was always focused. He didn't lose focus. That's what I feel like helped him. If you should ask me, if I should think on a very deeper level. Anyways, guys, tell me what you think about this video in the comment section, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification post so that whenever I post, you will always be among the first to see my video, guys. Bye bye, see you next time.